All right, what is up, YouTube boxing family? It's K Rod here. I'm back with another good video. I will be going live probably sometime shortly today to recap on the Lubin and Fundora fight card and Michaela Mayer versus Han, which I don't care about, that fight, but of that fight itself. I'm just gonna criticize, Michaela's, deficiencies, in that fight against Jennifer Hahn. That was a decent fight itself, but I'll only talk about like a couple fights out of the, out of that card, and then I will go straight to Lubin and Fundora, and then we'll wrap it up with Ryan Garcia and Emmanuel Tego, because that was a good ass fight card. And then I'm definitely gonna be calling out Marlon Esparza, on her robbery decision over Fujioka, but I'll be talking about that and I'll be getting that out the way very soon. But let's talk about League of Legends for one more time. For those of you guys that do follow me on the gaming content, a lot of you that do play games, especially like League of Legends, maybe for those that do play ranked, I tend to have like a little bit of like a trend understanding that whenever people do play ranked in League, there's always this big what if of why are people losing so much in the lower elo ranks. But obviously in high elo, if you lose, you lose, but still, you'll you still have like stupid teammates um holding you back to make you be more motivated to win, because you're wasting so much mental energy just to play a game that you don't really need to be playing all day. So let's just talk about in this topic, are stupid players the reason why it's hard for you to climb in ranked and League of Legends? And I would say part of that is yes, you need to have a good high IQ level team. I kind of view League of Legends, like a chess match type of game. You have to understand like where your pieces are going to be placed, on the battlefield, and you have to be, careful with your choices because there's just so many factors of how the game can be played. Like, if you have your bot lane feeding, but your jungler is super fed, that does mean the game can be won. But if your team is just mega feeding, except for you and your jungler in the top lane and jungle lane, that's really where things get very, very stressful. And then that's where people start being mentally retarded to throw the game, because no matter how fed you are in League, you need to have like your teammates that are able to farm enough gold to purchase enough items to be ready for that next team fight of what could potentially happen in the game. Because to me, I personally believe that, the farming doesn't really matter in League. Mainly it matters that you're not getting killed so many times by your enemy opposition team, and they're able to not be able to, get as much fed kills. Yeah, so they're not able to get as much fed kills, and then it's, like a balanced level game on a playing, yeah, on an equal level playing field, to make sure both sides are able to, facilitate, enough gold and item advantages to be ready for the next team fight. See, now for me, I tend to realize that League of Legends has this weird system, of which, depending on what level your character is, that really depends on how good your character will be able to beat that other character, because every character is different when it comes to the level of elo that people play that character. So like if you have like a Master Yi jungle and he's been playing it for for his entire life, of course that Master Yi can be good. And the thing about these players that do flex their mastery level to try to say like, oh well, I'm an M7 Yi main and blah blah blah, So therefore, I'm a very, very good Yi player, knowing that you're not facing the top level killers in your competition level, but yet when bring your ego to ranked, which that's like the biggest issue, and I probably say that's really like the biggest downfall of the game itself. They don't separate the good players from the bad players, and that's what causes people in lower elos to actually fail, in games, and then on top of that, they end up becoming hard stuck, moving forward into those games. So basically, my problem that I personally have with lower elo is that it's not hard to win, but it's really, really hard to communicate with people that choose not to communicate properly and be mature to actually win the game. Because if you have a team that wants to win, like for Halo requires a team-minded sport IQ. You can't just be running into a Halo game and just thinking that it's Call of Duty, because that's not how Halo works. Halo is a very good competitive level game. It's balanced. There's no certain such weapons that you could basically overpower and take advantage of. You have to be very, very precise with your decision making in Halo in order to win. But compare that to League of Legends, that's never to be the case. You could have like a Fed 5-0 Rek'Sai jungle, and let's just say you have like a bot lane 2 and 2-8 enemy Vayne bot lane, and just out of nowhere, Vayne, she has fucking Rage Blade with her Berserker Greaves, and let's just say Rek'Sai comes down to try to gank Vayne and her support, and let's just say Rek'Sai has like two other people coming with her, and let's just say Vayne had killed two out of the three enemy gank invaders that got kills off of them, and then she basically procs off her ultimate, and then she kills basically every single teammate, including Rek'Sai that was super fed. So now you basically created a huge mega disadvantage for the fed, for the fed enemy team to give shutdown gold advantage to the enemy team that is trying to have an easier way to climb back up to win the game, and then on top of that, it creates so many scenarios of which that the more you feed in games, especially in higher elos, in rank, the harder it is for people to have a good mental fortitude or good mentally stable fortitude to actually win the game. Because that's really the biggest problem in ranked. Because not a lot of people have good mental fortitudes, and people are too mentally egotistical losers to actually think that they're better than you. They have the best IQ in the game, but then when it comes to working together as a team to win the game, people start getting mega toxic. Mainly due to the fact that Riot doesn't include voice chat in the game, so that way people who actually want to win, they can actually come together and say, hey, if you guys want to win, come join this voice chat. Why do people need to chat through a chat box, room lobby that doesn't help the enemy? Basically, it doesn't help either team to actually understand, what they're going to do on the next play. And then on top of that, there's just too much, just there's too much miscommunication in the game itself that makes up the game harder to play. So I guess the biggest thing is just that, when it comes to League of Legends, especially climbing in ranked, regardless of what season people want to complain about, it's mainly due to the communication of players that actually want to get better. Because if you really think about it, I I'm pretty sure, like it happens in higher elos, and I'm not the one to say that, that I'm high elo, because I don't play ranked enough, but I have been playing ranked for the past couple, weeks, and I've been playing like a lot of ranked flex because I want to get better with like my skills. But the plan for me is that I personally want to, climb up to possibly master, and then after that, I'll probably switch over from flex to solo. And the reason why that I do that is for me to get a better feel for characters and actually get better with the skill set of the character. And then, after I hit that goal, I could just have like an easier time facing lower elos in solo queue. In solo queue, that makes it, a lot more easier to understand the matchups and be more, passive, like aggressive on my decisions, depending on what I need to do. But the thing is just that I don't personally have like the mental, how should I say? I'm not mentally broken when it comes to League, but obviously the stress that you have to go through with the amount of stupid players that choose not to play as a team, that's where I don't really take ranked as super seriously because it's like, it's a fucking game. And compared to any other game that is competitive, especially in military shooters or whatever, League of Legends is just one of those games where the game's just not fun, regardless if you're playing competitively or non-competitively. But whenever you like whenever you have those type of players that just choose to be mentally retarded in game, especially in the lower elo rankings leading into the higher elos, that's where the game is just broken enough where there's not a separation of talent to make sure that the talent level is earned depending on how good you play, because it's really all fucked up and broken through the MMR system, which I'm not going to talk about that, but think about it. If you won 10 games straight in a row in ranked, then what should happen is that your skill level based off of your performances should be matched with people that have the same amount of, similar potential skill level as you, because that would only make sense for you to have, better teammates and better people that want to play the game. And then on top of that, if Riot just added in voice chat where people could just hop in and they could either mute or, allow to talk to other anonymous players that queue up and play with them, in which honestly I believe solo queue needs to be it needs to be innovated to being, ranked solo only, not solo duo. It should just be only ranked solo, because that's really like, like the whole point of playing ranked modes in any video game. It should just be only solo you, and then you face up against other people that queue in solo. But hopefully later on in the future, if Riot can do that, that's something that's like, that they're probably going to do, because I actually heard that's what Riot is planning on doing. They're going to make flex queue be called dynamic queue, and solo queue will be called solo queue, and there won't be any people trying to have like win traders and all that bullshit, which I definitely do, like that move from Riot. But the problem is just that you're not separating the talent level. You have to keep the talent pool like, divided by having your performance level be determined by how good you're playing in game. Because if you're just feeding every single game, you should just be automatically set with bad players. You should not be playing with teammates that are, better than you, like, on your team that's playing with you. And if you choose not to win, and let's just say you have like a Tryndamere top main that's just hard carrying your team, he's like 21-5, and the rest of your team is just hard inting and not doing anything to win the game, then that's not fair, for any player that that is just naturally gifted to actually win the game, to go through shit games like that. Because if you know that you're good enough to climb super duper high, and let's just say that you feel more entitled and gifted enough to be on more higher win streaks rather than losing streaks, then that does need to be fixed, because it's just a waste of time for anybody to just get up from the bed and just say, well, let me just play League of Legends. And then the minute that they just get into the game and they're starting to understand that the talent level around them is not as good as people tote themselves to be, they're having to lose more games rather than win games. And then based off of the MMR system, you're not gaining enough LP every time when you win, but you're losing a shitload of LP every time you lose. Like, that doesn't make any damn sense. So yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. Honestly, the conclusion is that I truly believe that the stupidity of players makes it harder for you to get out of low elos. And I think until Riot actually comes to their decisions where they have to be serious about getting bad players out of League of Legends, I think eventually that's where things are going to be changed. And I think, like, it's going to start with market failure, where Riot's going to see their game fall apart. And I think Riot understands that their game isn't getting any better. People are more mentally destroyed playing League when they don't have a good mental fortitude coming into their games. And the social dysfunction of players that can't communicate with each other in a game, that's what causes the toxicity to get worse, because people are not able to consistently talk with each other. Because compare that to Valorant. Valorant is the perfect game to have a good ranked competitive mode. And despite people being toxic here and there, you can just mute them. It doesn't matter. You just mute them. That's really the simple situation fix to anybody that becomes toxic in a video game. And if they want to be toxic, fine. And guess what? If they're going to talk shit, in the chat, then just fucking mute them. Or just turn off the fucking chat. It's that easy. But people are so mentally weak in this generation of people that play video games that they can't have the balls to actually keep themselves out of fucking trouble. So they look for trouble, and then they start getting on these social reactionary, tirades to start, reporting people for the wrong shit that doesn't make any fucking sense, because it's based off of feelings. It's not based off of any objective fact. But guess what? If someone's being toxic, you just mute them. That's how it, to me at least, that's how it used to be, when I was growing up being young, and when I was playing games like Call of Duty, SOCOM, or any online game that was presented to like the Xbox 360 or the PS3 or PS2. If anybody was being toxic, I just shut their asses off. I don't give a fuck. But guess what? If they were still going to be toxic, again, I just mute them, because it's that simple. But for League of Legends, that's the only game in the world where Riot has to be super ass backwards and basically get someone banned for something that they say to their teammates, in which their teammates were being toxic to them. So if you say fuck you apes or fuck you dogs, that's somehow a reportable offense where you need to get banned or you need to get suspended. Fuck that shit. That shit needs to go. People need to man the fuck up in video games, and people need to stop being little bitches. But yeah, that's about it. I appreciate you guys, listening to my TED Talk. So I will see you guys later. And my birthday is in 20 days. And shout out to the Queen, Miss Amanda Serrano. She will be, making history. Hopefully, if she gets her victory over Katie Taylor. I can't wait to be there in real life, in which I'll be making a video about that very, very soon. And then I'll also be talking about Franchon Cruz and Aline Cedar-Roos, of why no one is talking about their undisputed bout or match. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I appreciate you guys coming through. More content coming on the way. I'll be talking about Lubin and Fundora very, very soon. And yeah, I'll see you guys. Bye.